your name?
My name is Melea Van Ostrand.
Melea.
I'm a real estate agent. I'm pretty new at it. I was a real estate reporter beforehand. Before that, I did TV, and then I decided, done with the 9 to 5. I want to do real estate full time.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I get to talk to you today.
Nice.
I wanted to ask, what I know you like right now. You're really successful. What were some of the ups and downs that you've had in your career, and how did you navigate those?
Yeah, well, I would say that when I first started, I didn't realize how expensive real estate was going to be, so not having 6 months, 8 months saved, right, to cover bills and expenses, emergency funds was really important. And so I would say funding the lifestyle that real estate requires, gas, bills, not getting a commission check in months, right? I sold my first property, I think 4 months after getting licensed, and then I didn't sell another property for like 8 months, 6 months. So I would say, I'm not allocating funds properly, not even having money. I was so broke. Like, I was broke for years. So I think that was the most difficult part, was having money, spending it, getting a commission check, waiting till the next commission check to survive. It's very hard to get out of survival mode, and I was in it for a long, long time, right? So I would say that's one of the hardest parts, is that. And I think I was just talking to my girlfriend Elizabeth. I've known her like since we were 15, long time, and she was asking me, how did you not get discouraged? And so I think now all of this talk is making me go back in my younger years, right, years ago. And I would say that what I told her is the same thing, is that I think it's important to know your why. Why are you doing this, right? Before it was to not be broke and to survive. Now my new why is, the woman that I want to become. I want to be a financially free woman. I want to be a woman of the community. I want to be, I want to have a legacy. I want to have investment properties. I want to retire, or have the ability to retire. So I would say is not getting discouraged and saving money and surviving on low money. So saving money and learning how to budget correctly, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of budgeting, like, let's say you get your commission check. How do you split that up? So you're saving, you're reinvesting into yourself or your business. How do you typically do that?
Well, it took me like 10 years to properly get into save mode, honestly. So now my checks look a lot different than they used to in terms of budgeting, right? The money that comes in. Before, the money was kind of all going back into the business. Every single cent. Pay my bills, back into the business. Pay my bills, back into the business. Now things are a little bit different, right? Because now I invest back into it, right? So I would say I do invest back into the business, but it's also into my own beauty care. It's also into my investment accounts. It's into other ways I generate leads. So it's into taxes, my tax bills. So now I would say like 30% of the checks go back into marketing. And then the other half is to pay bills, and the other part is into my investment accounts, into my retirement accounts and savings accounts. I'm really, really planning for the future now, as opposed to before. And even before, I wish I would have taken at least $100 a week or a month, put it into a separate account back all those years ago. Now I would have been 10 years, $100 a week for 10 years, So I would say that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're juggling the Miami guide as well as your business. So how do you juggle that? You have this platform that's really taken off, and how do you separate yourself from that, and then also your personal life that you share on social media as well?
Yeah. You're good at reporting, huh? I see. This is great. Wow. So the Miami guide, luckily I have an amazing partner in it. So, it's like his primary business, and it's like my secondary business in a way, So, but we kind of took it to the next level together, which is very nice, and we're continually taking it to the next level. Every year we're setting new goals. What's next for this quarter? What's next? How can we tweak it? How can we raise prices? How can we give more to our clients? How can we add value consistently? So I've learned my strong suits in the business, and he's learned his strong suits in the business. So I think that since we're able to separate what we do in terms of duties, it's allowed me to focus on the other business as well. Again, having a partner in it is really what helps, because I couldn't possibly do it on my own. There's no way. to do both businesses successfully. You can do businesses, mediocre, but if you really want two successful businesses, I needed a partner in it. In the real estate, it's just me. Just me. I have an assistant that kind of helps out. And I have a couple agents under me that kind of help me out too. Not on my team, but they help me out with showings and open houses sometimes too. So I outsource where I need to, right? And I know what I'm good at. Like I know what I'm bad at. So, accounting, bookkeeping to the assistant, creating reels to Mike, my business partner. So legalities, sales, getting the actual sale going, getting a deal to the closing table, strong suits, so that's kind of where I focus on too. So I think it's knowing your strengths.
Yeah. Downstairs, you mentioned that when it comes to how you post, you kind of want to be a little bit mysterious. So you're not always posting like your food for the day or the gym picture. So what kind of posts do you do that are mysterious?
So sometimes I go ghost. I won't post for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes. Some here and there, nothing crazy. And I think that stirs up, right? I think that's like some 48 laws of power, right? Creating some absence to create honor. And I think that that's important because sometimes I get messages like, where have you been? Everything okay? Everything okay? And I think that when people are so consistently viewing you, you're almost like, common occurrence. Versus when they don't see you as often, they're wondering what you're doing, what are you up to? And that creates a little bit of curiosity. And I think that's important too. Also, as women on real estate, attractive, like nice to look at, I guess, something like that. We need to be more cautious of what we post and how we post things. We want to be perceived in a certain way, and it's very important. People like to think like, no, 2024, we can do whatever we want, fine. But if you want to sell a $5 million home, you can't be out here drinking and clubbing and posting all of that stuff. Maybe on a private account, you can do those things. But to the public eye, you want to be a professional. You want to dress well. I don't like to have my cleavage all out. I don't like to wear super short skirts. I don't like to, I try to be a very classy person to cater to all audiences. And I think that, and I've heard feedback from clients that told me that I dress well and that I care about how I look. Dressing well is a form of good manners. And so that how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I'm like this in real life on Instagram, I'm like this as well. So I skip posts. I skip posting sometimes. When I do post, I try to make it valuable posting. Things that, like I said downstairs, are relatable and shareable. The fact that Michelin has hotels now and they offered new keys to South Florida. I think that's something interesting to know about. The 4 new stations that Brightline is offering. That's pretty interesting too. So I think that's kind of how I strategically post sometimes. Sometimes I post some food, if it's like at a new restaurant or something, like, damn, new restaurant, But if it's at a Pizza Hut or something, like, I probably wouldn't post something like that. Yeah.
Something I hear a lot, people like posting themselves too, but how often do you post yourselves as opposed to like your real estate content? Or is it kind of a mixture of both?
That's funny. I used to post a lot more of me, I feel like. And I don't know if it was a personal thing that maybe I seeked validation. I sought validation. Now I feel I'm a lot more of a secure woman, and now I feel like I don't need it as much. I mean, if it's like a growth thing or a security thing or confidence thing, I don't know exactly, but I will say that I don't feel the need to post as much now, even though I'm still taking care of myself and still very happy, but I would say I post a little bit less. I will say the posts that I post myself on get a lot more engagement than they don't. So I try to mix it up. Some me, some, and it's always been like that for the last 10 years on my Instagram page, my personal one. It's like half me, half real estate. Because if you only do real estate, it gets boring. But if you only do you're missing the important part. So you try to mix it up a little bit.
Okay. So you also mentioned earlier that it took you a while to get where you are, about 10 years, you said. First you did rentals, now you're doing a lot of the luxury. So I know that's kind of the goal for a lot of newer agents. So how do you make that transition and start meeting, the right people and going to the right events to meet those luxury clients?
Yeah, I would say exactly that. Going to the right events and changing your circles. I think it's important to change your circles. In addition, I think that when you pay your dues and you put in your time in, people see it and people will refer you business. For example, I have a very, very good friend of mine, maybe 10, 12-year friendship, and he's a big developer and never gave me any deals, never threw me a bone. And I was like, why? And I kept on, still being his friend, of course, friendship is friendship. And I'm like, come on, let me sell. Finally, after like 10 years of him consistently seeing me sell, he allowed me to sell his $2.5 million house in Venetian Islands.
Wow.
It took a long time,
Yeah.
So I think that's important, is paying your dues and showing people. And that's why I use social media in that sense, is because then people can see what you're up to. You know, for example, I'll get referrals, but maybe that referral is not, it's not really ready to work with me because they don't know who I am, but they go on my Instagram and they see it and they're ready. But that took years to get there, you know? So yeah.
Do you typically post on LinkedIn or Twitter as well, or TikTok even?
Not really. You know what? LinkedIn, I have like 13,000 connections. Like, I've been building LinkedIn for many, many years. But same thing though. Look what happens to me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I have a #1 real estate attorney now. Very good friend, the Elias Law Firm, Robert Elias. Love him, like for family. And I met him on LinkedIn like 10, 12 years ago. And now he's my attorney, my lifeline for everything. And I use him for all my closings, all my deals. And I met him on LinkedIn. So necessarily, do I do business off of LinkedIn? No, but I met great people on LinkedIn, and I stay connected with people on LinkedIn, you know? So maybe I'm leaving money on the table, not utilizing it correctly, you know? I will say it's a collective effort. Your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your open houses, your cold calling, your Instagram, it all needs to be done, you know? So, if you have a good platform on LinkedIn, I think use it, you know. I think LinkedIn is more business to business type of situation, you know. Back in the day when I first started real estate, I went and added every single wealth manager in New York, dentist New York. That I just added a whole bunch of people. Like, I don't know, I think it was like illegal what I was doing, like not even allowed, but I did it to build my database, and I have it now. I'm not utilizing it correctly, but Instagram is more my strong suit. Facebook is my strong suit too. Facebook, I'm a part of a lot of referral group chats with Sotheby's. So being part of those group chats on Facebook, I've gotten a couple of deals actually. So I think it's how you use it and what you're strong at, where you have your client, your database at. Facebook is mostly for like my referral partners and family and like old school friends. Instagram is more for the general public and my past clients and my friends, you know. Twitter is I have it private because, you know, I look at conspiracy theories.
You don't want that to affect business.
No, private.
Speaking a little bit of image, what do you feel about having, you know, your personal account and then you have like your real estate account?
Yeah.
That's what I have right now, but I'm not sure if I should utilize the real estate one more or post more real estate on my personal since I'm on that platform.
If your personal is classy, mix it in.
Okay.
If it's like, you know, having fun, drinking late night, no. You know, keep it to private, keep it to the business account, you know. I think the best is a nice mix.
Okay.
I think that's what's important. People want to see who you are, what you stand for, you know, what charities you're doing, what restaurants you're going to, things like that, but in a classy manner.
Okay. As far as branding, what are some tips that you could give someone like me who's pretty new at this and I'm trying to kind of figure out what, you know, who I am really?
Yeah. Who you are. So what colors do you like? You know, what do you represent as? Are you more of an orange girl? Orange colors? Do you like more black colors? Do you like more natural classics? Are you more old school? Do you like? I would say things like that are important too. And then you stick to those colors. So I'm basically like blue, black, and white. I would say those are my main colors. And keep reusing them. So now that's in my email templates, my social media graphics. It's in my logos now. It's in everything. I just invested a ton of money into my branding now. A whole new look coming soon. Monday, I have a new photo shoot. So then you get to that point where you can invest back into your brand. And now they have a brand book. You can use that and use it for repetition, you know. So now you keep repeating those colors, those logos, those looks to you, you know. Yeah. And branding to me is also who you are in a way, you know. And I like new restaurants, you know. I like everything Miami. I like turtles. I love sea turtles. That's my thing. Ocean conservation. That's my thing. So I think that's all part of your branding too. You know?
You just mix a little bit of all of that, and then that's what you post, and people see that when they go to your profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think you having the real estate reporter background is incredible. You know, so a little bit of journalism, right? So I think that's a really cool feature. That could be like you should really capitalize on that because you have a different skill set that no one else has in South Florida real estate. You know, 60,000 realtors in Dade County. Who does journalism? Like who does reporting? You know, so you can make a really cool Instagram account of it, interviewing people like me or interviewing developers or owners or things like that, restaurant owners. There's a lot of reporting you can do.
Oh, that's some good ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do here, and like in a place like Nucleus too.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I like the ideas.
Yeah.
I'm also a mom of two. So I don't know. I know I want to have a little bit of privacy, especially with them, and I don't want to post them too much.
I wouldn't include them.
No. Okay, I was gonna say.
No, I wouldn't. Keep it private. They don't need to know everything.
Okay.
What I would do is go after like the moms in those friendship circles and like, you know, really leverage those relationships. And if they need a realtor, and then you become the family friend realtor, and, you know, start doing community things like that. That's a great way to meet people.
Okay.
Is through the schools, you know, start being part of the PTA,
yeah.
start posting events, the school events, the sporting events. Like, that's a great way to meet people consistently on a daily basis too.
Okay. So you would say some of the main things: really meet people.
Number one.
Yeah. Meet people, network all the time.
I'm a part of like 18 different things. Like, I go to a bunch of charity events all the time. I volunteer at a lot of things. I help mentor free. Like, I don't make any money off of it. I'm a part of associations where I pay thousands of dollars to be part of it. Like, all of it is to meet new people, you know? So I come to these type of things. Like, I'm always meeting new people. I'll be in the supermarket meeting new people. I'll be in the elevator meeting new people. Like, you need to just meet as many as you can, get their emails, add it to your database, stay organized. Like, literally, that is the protocol.
Okay. And to nourish those, I know you said the email blast. What else do you do to kind of keep yourself top of mind?
Well, I try to reach out via phone calls and text messages too, you know, because I have like a nice relationship with most of my clients. Like, we're friends at the end of the day, you know, and sometimes we're even more friends. We're like almost like family. Like, I developed such a nice relationship with some of them, you know, so it should be easy to check in. It should be easy to have a coffee, lunch, you know, take them out, something like that, check in some kind of way, you know. Now with my new branding, I'm implementing like closing presents and pop buys. So like a pop buy is going to be like a small little bag, cute little check-in, something like that. And I want to start mailing those out to everyone across the world, across the nation, to past clients, referrals, you name it. So that's my next goals like sheet to do. And that's how my way of keeping up with them.
So with AI and with how everything in real estate is kind of changing, going more digital, are there ways that you keep up with the trends, and what kind of things do you want to do to keep business going and keep reaching your goals like in the next few years? Yeah,
actually, so website is constantly being changed and upgraded. Thousands of dollars I'm spending there. Now with my videography on my real estate stuff, I'm slowly upgrading. So at first I was using this kind of photographer. Now I'm doubling the budget to this photographer, because they really know what they're doing. So that, I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing, not with AI, but with trends, is always thinking next level, right? And that costs money. It costs money. It really does. So, you know, before, I remember like Instagram, social media was big. Then like reels were cool. Then drone footage. Now it's like cool footage. Now it's constantly changing.
Right.
So I would say right now I'm really doubling down on videography.
Okay.
Videography is really big, and my website is about to be big too. I'm starting now to like really integrate some lead generation techniques too. So that's important too. I'm kind of slacking on the AI. I use ChatGPT, but there's so many others. So hopefully I start using more of those too.
Have you done any of the digital products? I see some of the real estate influencers doing.
So during
courses.
COVID, we converted the Not Your Average Lead Generation class into a course. And we did well. It did really well. And my partner and I, Mike with the Miami Guy, we're constantly thinking of doing a new course, like an academy or like a bundle. Like, and I actually wrote it all out. A 6 course. It was going to be from A to Z. Like, you got licensed, post-closing, completely everything. And I constantly think about it. I think I would do well in it. That's like on the back burner. Maybe we'll do something like that soon. We were even going to do like how to grow your Instagram page, like to the Miami Guide style, make it into a bundle, real estate and marketing. We had some ideas.
Would be great. I'd buy that.
Yeah, we should try to do it. Yeah, I did it once and it worked out, but it wasn't like my top work, you know. So now I really want to make it amazing. I'm not gonna produce or distribute anything that's not amazing.
Right.
So I think when I have the time, but I'll make the time.
Well, I don't have any more questions, but thank you so much.
This is the best interview yet. So good.